as you know, Thanksgiving is coming up, and that means a lot of people are traveling by airlines.
Yeah.
Now, there's like small sniggly stuff that the Biden administration did that seems sort of small, but had like a direct impact on the quality of people's lives. Some of that came in the context of transportation, and that is rules to protect people who are flying. You'll recall, or maybe you don't. We underwent 40 years ago now, I guess, more deregulation of the airlines, despite the fact that the airlines themselves didn't want to deregulate. And what that did is it supposedly was going to spur the development of a bunch of like smaller airlines, and they were going to service all people. It was going to be cheaper, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it turns out that really didn't happen. And it did, and then it just sort of went away because invariably, without any antitrust protections, et cetera, and just capitalism is going to seek profit and not necessarily provide service that would be helpful to everybody, but they're going to just seek the most profitable routes. Airline regulation insisted that certain airlines fly and service these areas, despite the fact they may not be as profitable in some areas, but they would get then in return a more profitable route, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that's also happened is the service on airlines has gone down dramatically. Now, one would expect, oh, I thought there was going to be more competition, but no, it was basically a race to the bottom. And one of the small but meaningful reforms the Biden administration put in that was supposed to kick in shortly was that if your flight is canceled, which completely screws you over, unless there is like a very specific, weather situation that would have caused it, the airline would have to compensate you.
Right.
Can you imagine that there would be, it's hard. I can understand why an administration wouldn't impose that necessarily, because there's some political challenges to it, I guess, in terms of like big money. But can you imagine actually like having an administration reversing it? Well, imagine no more. Here is a former reality MTV. What was it?
Real World alum. Sean Duffy explaining to you what happens in the real world. In the real world, you get screwed, and it's best for the country.
I want to ask you about something else. During the Biden administration, there was this push for greater passenger rights. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to have the airlines compensate people, give the money if there was a delay, if there was a cancellation. But that is something that the Trump administration has said they do not want to do.
Well, we took a more common sense approach to it. If your flight is canceled and you're flying through Newark and you're stuck here, well, we think the airline should actually refund your flight or put you up in a hotel, give you a meal. But if they changed your flight number and it's going to fly at the same time, that doesn't count as a cancellation, and they don't have to refund you. And so we just want to have the right balance between the airline.
Pause it for a second. I just want to be clear. The idea that they would change the flight number, I suspect, was not what the Biden administration was talking about. There is a difference between your flight gets canceled and you're stuck midway through a trip, that your connecting flight gets canceled, you're stuck midway through the trip, and obligating the airline to pay for you to stay overnight somewhere, which I think was already existing as far as I recall. Yeah. And there's only one other option. It's either that or they just change the flight number and the flight's leaving at exactly the same time.
Those are the two things. Refund for that?
Those are the two things that happen. Just like you get stuck in Newark in the middle of a flight, or they just change the number on you. There's no other scenario where you're stuck, where the flight is delayed for 2 or 3 hours because they decide to get rid of, or it's canceled because they decide they didn't sell enough. They didn't sell enough seats on it, and they can't. They're not going to be profitable enough.
Well, and people should know that the airline lobby is one of the most powerful lobbies in Washington. And there was some speculation that gang of 8 Democrats who ended up caving on the government shutdown were being heavily influenced by the airline lobby. And it sounds like Duffy is just basically regurgitating their talking points now on air.
Let's just go back a little bit. I mean, because this is impressive. I mean, this
You need a balance.
you really. It's
sense
common sense approach.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to give flyers any type of compensation. It's common sense. You don't. You
But
don't
can't you
in any
hear
way
a
inhibit corporations.
Yeah,
Oh,
can't you hear a
totally.
lobbyist saying that and he just repeats it?
Totally.
Common sense approach.
Fund your flight or put you up in a hotel, give you a meal. But if they changed your flight number and it's going to fly at the same time, that doesn't count as a cancellation, and they don't have to refund you. And so we just want to have the right balance between the airlines and the passengers. And you all know that if you have all these passenger rights that are dinging airlines left and right, some where they should be dinged, but sometimes they should not be sanctioned. Well, just the price of tickets are going to go up. So what is the right balance? And I think the last administration, the guy that sat in the seat was trying to run for president. I'm not running for president. So what I'm doing is saying, how do we have the balance between the airlines and the passenger and make sure it's fair for both?
How is
You know what he is doing instead? There's an article in the New York Times. Sean Duffy wants you to stop wearing PJs on the plane.
We got sound for you.
Oh, we do. All right.
Also,
well,
the idea that Buttigieg was running for president means that he has to listen to people, and Duffy's not running for president, so he gets to listen
Right.
to
Exactly.
I mean, this is part of
Lobbyists.
the good stuff that Buttigieg got as transportation secretary, and some of which it seems like he's kind of slapdashing together and taking credit for as well, Duffy. But yeah.
And it should be noted that they're like protecting the profitability, which is to say how much money these companies can kick back to investors, as opposed it's like when they try to claw back all this money.
They're getting dinged.
something I didn't know? In 2019, 400% increase of in-flight outbursts by passengers. 2021, 1 in 5 flight attendants faced physical incidents. You want to change that?
Yeah, so Donald Trump talks about the golden age of transportation, the golden age of America, but the golden age in transportation truly begins with you, the traveler, right? And so if you think, and you just watch social media, you have brawls at the baggage claim, you have passengers berating gate agents, we have unruly passengers on airplanes. People dress up like they're going to bed when they fly. I see people getting on airplanes and they're having a hard time taking their luggage and getting in the oversized or the above bin. Help people out, be nice, be courteous. And so we want to push people as we come into a really busy travel season. Help people out, be in a good mood, dress up, bring civility back to travel. And I think everyone's experience is going to be that much better.
Wait, but
Okay.
if you dress up, you're going to be more uncomfortable.
Well, here's the point, though.
Okay.
Here's the point. It is true. Like, I remember flying in 1975, and like people would dress up. But the seats, the distance between the seats, honestly, was like 6 to 12 inches more. Like when you are shoved into an airline, as if it was like you're in the hull of a transatlantic ship. Okay.
Like on a C-130.
Exactly. Then of course you're going to do anything to make the experience less painful. I mean, this is the thing. And there's a reason why there's so many outbursts. It's because people are completely agitated by their experience at the hands of these airlines.
Or it's just moral degeneracy, Sam. Have you considered that it has nothing to do with corporations taking advantage of you and exploiting you and
The failing
packing you
is
in
in
like
us.
sardines? Yeah, it's
You
the
thought
fact
about
that...
slapping on lipstick and smiling?
Yeah, right. It's because women have their hair up in ponytails.
But I
like
just
slobs.
to get back to his whole thing about it's going to raise ticket prices if airlines are held to account for the way they treat their passengers. U.S. airlines had $4 billion net profit in the second quarter of 2025. In the second quarter. I'm sorry, $4 billion in the second quarter. Now, maybe some seasons are a little more profitable than others, but just in the back of the napkin math here, we're talking a $16 billion net profit. And they get away with putting people into these like sardine cans. And then you've got Patrick Duffy telling you, or Sean Duffy, sorry. I got my TV
Easily
stars
confused.
mixed up. You got Sean Duffy telling you, like, the idea is, hey, maybe dress a little nicer. Incidentally, I imagine he goes business class every single time.
Oh, yeah. Where you can stretch out your legs in the suit. I mean, Sean Duffy, so this is what it says. They started a new campaign on Wednesday that he called The Golden Age of Travel Starts With You, complete with a 1960s-style public service announcement that spliced together scenes of the country's first air travelers dressed in suits and hats, with present-day clips of in-fight brawls and airport meltdowns. In the background, Frank Sinatra sings Come Fly With Me.
Let's bring back airline regulation.
Exactly. In the 1960s...
Do you understand that if you went on a 747 this was as late into the 70s, maybe even the early 80s, I don't remember, that on a 747 they had a second level of the airport, you could go up in a lounge. In a lounge. And you go just to hang out there. Like it's insane.
I know.
It is. Like,
I know.
Like you do that? Like,
have you ever smoked on an airplane?
I was like 12 when there was still smoking
Sam's
on an
dream,
airplane.
though.
Yeah, no, I did. No, of course not.
I mean, I'm sorry, just really quick story on this. When I was flying back from LA on Sunday morning, like I was 4 hours, I was in the window seat and I had to crawl over the guy to go to the bathroom. I waited for a long time and his wife was in the middle and she was like, oh, like, you're going to wake him up. I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go. And I just think, like, but Sean Duffy looks at that as like, that's the problem because I was in leggings and a sweatshirt. That must have been the situation. Or it could have been that I couldn't get out
There's
of
only
this
4
aisle
inches between
without crawling over the stranger.
between the seat and the back of the other seat. I mean, it used to be, honestly, just like riding in economy was just like you could shuffle through like you can at stadium seating. Right. It's just insane. They did have when I took a train across the country in the mid 90s and they had a smoking car, but that was it.
Next stop they're going to make us wear diapers.
Exactly.
So you don't have to move at all.
There's going to be a tube that you just okay. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.